the main mystery of the world, the mission of the Great Egyptian Sphinx. This is the grandest statue in the world, created for the times of human civilization. The height of this mythical creature, carved directly from the rocks, is more than 20 meters. The length is about 70. However, many believe that this giant was not created by people at all. The scatter of the names of the creators is grandiose and strikes minds, from ancient Atlanteans to representatives of extraterrestrial civilizations. In fact, the view of the Colossus is unusual for the earthly eye. It has the body and the paws of a lion, the wings of an eagle, and the head of a man, truly a mythical creature. However, astrologers say something else. They believe that the creature has the body of a bull, calf, the paws of a lion, wings of an eagle. In astrology it is an analogue of scorpion, and the face of a man-maiden. Hence the conclusion: this mythical creature personifies the main signs of the zodiac, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Virgo, and therefore, not just a mythical, but a universal essence. In a word, the more you look, the more mysteries are there, and as a rule, they are all unanswered. According to legend, the Great Sphinx is not a stone, but a living creature. In fact, the image of the Sphinx was distributed in an ancient country, but only the big giant was considered alive. The ancient Egyptians believed that he goes around every night, flies around, runs around. That's what the paws of a lion and the wings of an eagle are for. The whole country, protecting it from evil spirits. Hence, the human head, one must not just look, but be aware, think. That's just bypassing the country. The Sphinx itself takes on sandstorms and other elements of the wild, and therefore, returning to its pedestal by morning, it sinks deeper and deeper into the sands. According to another legend, the guardian Sphinx worries about the order of the country, which he is entrusted to protect. And when the cruel and evil behavior of the human race, war, hostility, raids, begins to annoy him, at night he jumps off the pedestal and runs into the desert to at least find peace of mind and relax under the stars. With grief, he even buries himself in the sand and often cannot shake off afterwards. And in order to return, the Sphinx must be sure that its lair, pedestal, is safe, that outsiders do not know about it. Therefore, for a long time the Egyptians believed that it was impossible to talk about the god, that information about him could not be recorded. Otherwise, one day the big god may not return. Then there will be no one to follow the legal order and the world will collapse into chaos. In the middle of the 14th century, a monk of the Franciscan monastery in Bologna, Fra Nero, composed the work The Eternal Book, Oracle, which has now become legendary, because almost all of its predictions, created before the year 2000 of Christ, were confirmed. So in his oracle Nero mentioned the Sphinx. There is a great stone idol of all times and peoples in the East, keeping the whole experience of mankind, wrote a monk, and predicted that, having solved the mystery of the Sphinx, people would learn how to live forever or prolong life to the age from our world to the eternal world. Nero saw a special safe under the statue, where knowledge of diseases, the meaning of life is hidden. There is also a vault with the seeds of all the plants of the earth. That is, Sphinx, the place of storage of eternal wisdom. Surprisingly, but 600 years later, after writing of Oracle, in the middle of the 20th century, Edgar Cayce saw similar in a prophetic dream. Under the right paw of a sphinx there is a secret camera. The clairvoyant called it the Hall of Records, where all history of mankind, which is written down by atlases from the very beginning before construction of great pyramids, is stored. That is till that time when the last atlases still lived in ancient Egypt. In a word, visions coincided. Or perhaps just Cayce told what read at Nero? No. The American could not make it in any way. The matter is that the manuscript of the Franciscan monk was only in 1972, came across it accidentally. Being afraid of church prosecution, the monk managed to hide the work reliably. He enclosed pages of Oracle in the book Herbs of Tuscany, obviously sure that hardly anyone will begin to read this boring creation. Casey started talking about a sphinx in 1945, almost in 30 years prior to a find of oracle in monastic library near Bologna. But it is surprising that both predictors spoke about one. So, maybe, to assume that they are right, a sphinx, a peculiar safe of centuries where pages of eternal wisdom are stored. The perception of the Sphinx by Napoleon Bonaparte in his Egyptian campaign turned out to be quite indicative. When, at the end of the 18th century, his army invaded the Valley of the Kings, the pyramids struck the French, including the future emperor, with greatness and mystical power, but the Sphinx directly frightened. And all because at different times of day the sun illuminates the stone guards in different ways. In the morning rays, his face seems calm and even serene, but as the sun glides along the statue, its face takes on an ominous, gloomy and even threatening look. Also in Egypt darkens almost instantly. So Bonaparte has seen more than once how a sphinx gets a terrible expression and starts to grin. Is this why he ordered his soldiers to shoot straight into the face of the ancient guard? Here are just a mutilated face has become even more disgusting and threatening. Or maybe he just foresaw the terrible fate of Napoleon himself? Centuries go by, and wars, epidemics, catastrophes are getting worse, more inhuman, bigger. Well, the Sphinx goes through the history of civilization with humanity. The stone essence, sculpted in immemorial times, saw everything, heard everything, but was silent about everything. Mystical companion that accompanies humanity all the way.